Welcome to another edition of my van build series. If you haven't been here before, my name's Lucy and I really like to build things. This week we're going to talk about the advantages of this double drawer as opposed to two single drawers, why I built it this way, and how to build one yourself. First of all, notice that this has magnets here to hold it in place so that when you're driving, it's not going to be rattling around. The opening on both of these cabinets is 9.5 inches tall, so on the one side with two separate drawers, I was able to get 3 inches of depth for each drawer times 2. Now in the double drawer, I do a little better than that. On the top drawer, I get 2.5 inches, which is perfect for the silverware, as well as the measuring cups. And then on the bottom, I have 4.5 inches of depth, so I have plenty of room for towels. So this helps take advantage of this wasted space in between the drawers, as well as saves on cost because each drawer slide is about $15 a piece, and each of the locking mechanisms is about $5 a piece, so you save about $20. I started with the larger drawer box, and it's going to have 3 really deep sides, and then the back one is going to be shallow to allow that front tray to pull out the back. So I dadoed in 1/4 inch dados, about 3/16 of depth, into all 4 of these. So I have to cut the 1/4 inch base for the drawer, then I dry fit everything, make sure that it fit right, and then on the front part of it I drew out where I was going to have to cut out space for the push to open hardware, as well as 2 just semicircles that I cut out so that I'd have room to get my fingers in to move this forward and back. I wouldn't have had to make those so big by any means, but I figured I might as well cut out some extra weight anyway while I was at it. To assemble these drawers, since this is just going to be for a van, I decided not to waste any time on any fancy joinery. So these are just going to be simple butt joints with the birch plywood. It's going to be plenty strong to just have butt joints held together with glue, and I just used some brad nails to hold it all together, but really it's getting its strength from the glue anyway. When making simple drawers like this, just remember to keep the edges of the drawer, the sides, to be the long pieces instead of the front or back, because where you really need the strength is on that initial pull, especially with soft close drawers, because they hold a little bit tight. So you want to make sure that when the nails go in, they're providing that strength for you. Also, when you're using brad nails into thin wood like this 1/2 inch birch, make sure that you keep the nail gun perpendicular to where you are nailing into, because the nails when they come out are going to be most likely to bend side to side, not front or back. So that will help prevent you from blowing a nail out where you don't want to. Next, I'm going to confirm the final depth of the back part so I know how much my top drawer can be, and so I come in right at 4.5 inches. So I'm going to cut 1/4 inch pieces on the side that are right at 4.5 inches so that the upper drawer will have a place to slide against the whole way. I apologize for a poor camera angle here, but I'm just going to glue these into both sides, and just wood glue alone is going to be plenty to hold them in place. So even though I know what all the dimensions should be now for the top drawer, I just take final measurements again, just in case something got off by, just a little bit. The top drawer is an extremely simple tray. I just cut all my pieces to 2.5 inches in depth, and then I'm making the tray to be just a 1/16 under so that it's going to slide really nicely but not have a lot of play. This is just 1/4 inch wood, and the bottom's going to be 1/8 inch, so I'm not messing around with dados or anything. I'm just going to go ahead and nail this together, again keeping that nail gun perpendicular and being very careful to shoot my nails in nice and straight. And then the bottom I'm just going to cut exactly to size, and then that is going to provide the squareness for the top, which is nice, and then I'm just going to nail that in, again being very careful to keep my nail gun perpendicular and nice and straight. Now you might notice that I oversized the back of the bottom a little bit, and this isn't necessary. The only reason why I did this is I figured that if the magnets didn't hold it strong enough in transit, and if it did shake loose, that would hit the back of the cabinet, and it's about 1/4 of an inch clearance in the back then, so it wouldn't be slamming in and out. I love these little handy shims. They come in different dimensions. So here I'm going to use 16th inch handy shims, but even just an index card would work fine. I'm just trying to provide just a little bit of space before I glue on a little piece of wood. And this is just going to make sure that as you're pushing it backwards, that it doesn't try to, fall back down or anything like that. It's well supported the whole way. Next, in 2 little blocks of birch, I'm going to recess in some magnets, and that's going to be on one side of it, and then I'm just going to use just a little bit of steel on the other side, and I'm just using like a little square that I had. Just anything will work here. Just use whatever you have around. And to hold the magnets in, I'm just using some 2-part epoxy. So when I open the drawer here, you can see the steel L-shaped reinforcement type bracket that I used for the steel for the front. Obviously, just a simple piece of steel would be even better, but I just was using what I had. I should also note that I sanded and then put paste wax all over this so that it slides really, really nice and free. I have several videos that cover making drawers with different joinery and whatnot and how to install them, but just to keep this super simple, the drawer slides are going to be a 1/2 inch each, so your drawer is going to be 1 inch more narrow than your opening. And notice how I'm using a 1-inch foam block to help line this up. That's just the spacing that I was going to end up with, so that was a nice convenient piece to use because other spacers, if they fall and hit you in the head, it's not as fun, so foam works really great. But I just need to line this up well enough. I have double stick tape in there so that I can push it out, get it to hold well enough to get clamps on it. And then I'm going to clamp it, and then I'm going to screw it in from the inside out and make sure that I'm screwing into where the thicker shaker part of the drawer is, just so I don't accidentally poke a screw through the front of my drawer front. That would be really tragic at this point. So just make sure that you're careful. So there you have it. If you are enjoying this build series, please like and subscribe and follow along. I hope that this little space saving and money saving option is right for you. Have a great day and happy building.